Hi everyone, welcome to a new lesson. We continue to work with the mask section of the course. Up until now we have learned how to create masks using the same layer in which we want to create the mask. For example, if I hit this fit to comp and I grab our rectangle tool, I can create a mask inside the same layer. You can see that it's on the same layer. This is the image layer that I have. I have only one layer, but there's another way to create mask, and it's a wonderful way, and it's to use another layer as the mask. And to do that, we're going to use a tool called Track Matte. Let's see. I have this image layer. Now I'm going to create a new layer, a new shape layer, because we have to use shapes for this to work. So I'm going to create a new shape layer. You can see that I have nothing here because I haven't created any shape. I'm going to create a shape of the star like this, and I'm going to place this star right here in the middle. Now I want this image to be placed on a mask with this star shape, meaning that all I can see from this image will be the inside of the star. So to do that, we're going to hit on toggle switches on modes, and you're going to see this right here, which is called the Track Matte. And you can see that the shape layer doesn't have any Track Matte option, doesn't have a drop down menu like this one, and that's because this is the top layer. I'm going to select my image layer, and you can see that right now it's on none, but if I hit here, I can see Alpha Matte, Alpha Inverted Matte, Luma Matte, and Luma Inverted Matte. We're going to see what any of these does. So first, let's select Alpha Matte. Okay, you can see that now the star shape is being used as a mask. And how does this work? This is called Alpha Matte because this works with the alpha channel of the layer above. For example, if I take a look at this layer, you can see that the layer is the star shape, but everything else is empty. Everything else is empty. Take a look at this. I have no Track Matte right now, and the shape layer is only the shape of the star. Everything else is empty. Everything else is transparent. And that empty space, that transparency, is called the alpha channel. So the Track Matte works with the alpha channel of the layer above. If I hit Alpha Matte, it will take the empty space and use it to cover up as a mask. It's basically the same principle that you use for creating the normal mask, but only using the alpha channel instead. If I hit the Alpha Inverted Matte, that means that instead of using the alpha channel, it's going to use the luminance part. And the luminance part is the part that has content, that has something on the layer. For example, this shape layer, it has the star shape, so the luminance will be the star shape. And everything else is the alpha channel. So when I hit Alpha Inverted Matte, it takes the alpha channel as the mask. It's actually quite simple to understand. And you can see that now on our layers we have this icon, meaning that it's taking a Track Matte. This is the Track Matte icon. You can see that this is a circle with transparency around, meaning that it's using the Track Matte. Of course, this doesn't have to be a star shape. You can use anything, any shape as our mask, as our Track Matte mask. And also, it's important to know that this layer will take only the layer that is above. For example, if I create a new shape layer, and this time instead of a star, I create a polygon. And I hit Alpha Matte. If I turn off this layer, you can see that it's now using this shape as the Track Matte. So it's always going to use the layer above. We also have the Luma matte and the Luma inverted matte, and for that we're going to use this image, which is a black and white image, because the Luma matte uses the black and white channels. So I'm going to fit this to comp, and you can see that on alpha matte it does nothing, but if I hit Luma inverted, you can see that it's using the white space as the mask, and if I hit the Luma matte, it's using the black space as the mask. So on Luma matte, anything that is black or pure black is going to be covered, and the white space is going to be like the hole within the mask, meaning that we can see through whatever is white. Of course, if I have, for example, let me create again a shape layer with the star tool. If I have this, I can animate either the shape layer or the image. For example, if I move the image, you can see that I'm moving only the image, and all I'm going to see is through the star shape hole. And if I move the shape layer, because it's turned off right now, but you can still move it because it's being used as a mask. So if I move this star shape, you can see through all the parts of the image. So this can be really nice. For example, we could create a text layer and maybe write something like track matte. I'm going to make this way bigger. And I'm going to use this as a track matte. Now you can see this is a nice effect. We could create maybe some title animation, and maybe not using the image but a video instead. For example, let's remove the image and let's work with this movie that we used before, and I'm going to select the track matte, alpha matte, and you can see that I can see through the shape of the text into the video. So if I hit play, I will see the video through the text shape. So this is really nice. We can create some nice stuff with this, like a title animation or something, and we can create really nice things with this. For example, I'm going to erase this video. Let me change the composition color. I'm going to change it to white, and the text is going to be, I don't know, maybe like this color. I'm going to make this smaller. Now I'm going to create an effect where this text goes from this point to this point, but appears out of nowhere, out of the middle of this composition. So if I want to do that, first I'm going to create a shape layer. With the rectangle tool, I'm going to create a really small rectangle, and maybe the color will be black color. So I want this text to go from here to here, but appear out of this rectangle. Now, how can we do that? First, let's animate the text. I'm going to hit the P on my keyboard to create a keyframe on the position, and on the first second I'm going to create another keyframe. So I'm going back to the first keyframe and take this text to this point, so that when I hit play it goes like this. Now I have to do something to cover up this object, and of course I could just create a shape layer like this, and make it white, and that would do the trick. But what if I have a background? What if I have, for example, our image? What if I have this and I want the text from go to this point? What do I do about this rectangle being here? So I'm going to take this rectangle, let me take it closer to this point, and we're going to use this rectangle as our track matte. So make sure that we have the rectangle, this white rectangle, above the track matte text. Now if we have it like this, now it's time to create alpha inverted matte. Now if I hit play, the text appears out of nowhere like this. Now we're using this rectangle. This rectangle is right here, it hasn't gone. We're using this rectangle to create a mask above the track matte text, so that it looks like the text is coming out of nowhere. Now let's create another example. I'm going to delete the text and the image, and we have our shape layer. I'm going to move it to this point. Now I'm going to use a walking character I created for another course. This is just a simple animation of this guy walking. It goes like this. Now I want this guy to walk through this space. I'm going to make it disappear from this point and appear right from this rectangle. So first, of course, I have to create the animation for him. I'm going to move him to this part. I'm going to create a keyframe, and on 2 seconds later he will be gone. So he will go like this. Maybe this should take longer, up to 4 seconds. Alright, now I'm going to move these layers above and make sure that the shape layer is above him. Now I'm going to use the alpha inverted, and when I hit play, let's see how it looks. Perfect. It looks like he's going out of nowhere. So that's basically all there is to it with the track matte. As you can see, it's really simple to get. Let me explain this part again. If I have an image and I create a shape layer, I can use this shape layer, whatever your shape is. I can use it as a mask using the alpha channel. Remember that the alpha channel is all that is outside of the shape. The shape is the luminance, and the empty space, I mean the transparency, is going to be called the alpha channel. So this mask works with the alpha channel, meaning that all that we're going to see through is the luminance part, which is the shape part. If I hit the alpha inverted, I'm going to use the shape as our mask, and the alpha channel is going to be the hole within the mask. And always remember that the shape that you want to use as the mask, as the track matte, it has to be on top of the layer that you want to see through. So this is not too complicated, but later on the course we're going to be using the track matte and can teach you more about it, because you know that when we're going to create the exercises, it's easier to understand rather than on the theory. So let's go to the next lesson.